What's going on, everyone? So we're still kind of waiting around to see what do the San Antonio Spurs do, right? They signed Luke Cornett, which was a fantastic acquisition and pickup. One of the biggest needs, if not the biggest need, that the San Antonio Spurs needed to address, which was the backup center position, right? But I do think that they still have other needs, other things that they need to work on, such as, the perimeter depth, right? Particularly some legit 3-and-D wings, maybe even at the 4 in particular. Got a guy in at Carter Bryant that I think can slot in at either forward spot. Do have like Harrison Barnes that can kind of get you through for the year. Although I really like Harrison Barnes as a rotation player and just a savvy vet on this team. But, how are you going to kind of structure this roster going forward, right? One of the guys that I would love to see the Spurs go after and acquire, but you'd have to trade for him, would be Trey Murphy. Now, I've talked about Trey Murphy in the past, and just how this roster looks and is shaped up, I think he makes more and more sense. Right? And I think it's worth ponying up whatever you have to pony up, within reason, obviously, but ponying up whatever you have to pony up in order to acquire Trey Murphy. Maybe it's like a 3-team trade with De'Aaron Fox in the mix, whatever. I don't know, but I think Trey Murphy should be at the top of the Spurs list. Talking about a legit 6'8", versatile wing that could slot in at your 3 or 4, but probably best as your 4. As last season was 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. Right, so he's a guy that has already shown the ability to be a 20-plus point a game scorer, play some defense, be a legit 3-and-D wing in this league, play either forward spot, but also be a guy that can create for himself, create a little bit for others. He'll just be a very good basketball player, right? Like, I don't look at Trey Murphy as like, oh, he's the best or second best player on like a contender team, but I do look at him as he's a guy that could be, if he's your 4th guy, you're probably very good at the game of basketball, right? You're probably one of the best teams in all of basketball, if not the best team in all of basketball, right? And you kind of look at, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, and Victor Wembanyama, right? Imagine if they were able to pull off a trade for Trey Murphy. Imagine a starting 5, might be obviously better in a couple years, but think of Dylan Harper as your point guard, Stephon Castle as your 2, right? Carter Bryant as your 3, which I think if you had a time machine and went forward in time, came back and told me Carter Bryant is actually the best out of the 3 of Harper, Stephon Castle, and Carter Bryant, I would believe you. Right? I would be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense, right? I think that kid has all kinds of upside and potential as well. I know Dylan Harper is the sexy name. He's the one that everyone's kind of expecting to be a superstar. Don't sleep on Carter Bryant. But back to what I was saying, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, Carter Bryant, all right? Trey Murphy and Victor Wembanyama. You have shooting, you have defense, you have switchability, you have size, you have basically everything you need to be a good basketball team. And the beauty of Trey Murphy is he's young enough to kind of fit your core and foundation. He just turned 25. Won't be 26 till literally the end of next season. Right? So he's a guy that's young enough to be and grow and mature with this core, right? This foundation. Right? He's a guy that I do think, look, he's available, right? The Pelicans have basically said that they're fielding offers for him, right? You don't field offers for a guy that isn't available, right? Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to trade him, or they might only want, an insane package. It just doesn't make sense that we're all just kind of like, yeah, okay, that's not happening, right? So again, it just depends, is it within reason? But he's also just getting into a new contract. So you have him already locked up for the foreseeable future. Making $25 million this year, $27 million the next, $29 million, and then $31 million. So he makes $2 million extra a year each year. But, for the type of player that he is, as young as he is, right? That's basically what market value is. So I think that you got a good price on him. So you'd have him locked up for the next 4 years. It's not like one of those things where it's like, oh man, we're trading for him and then we have to be the team that gives him a new contract. He's going to make $30 million a year, right? No, he's making, when this contract is over, $31 million. Right? So he's a guy that I think you could bring in, have as a core and foundation for the next handful of years. Right? Solves another big need that you have, which is the 4. Right? Again, you have guys that could saw it in and offset it. You could do 4 by committee, right, if you wanted to. But I look at Trey Murphy as not only a solution and answer for right now, but a solution and answer for the long term. Right? Yeah, sure. This season you could go with, De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, Harrison Barnes and or Carter Bryant and Victor Wembanyama. But you're kind of small out on the perimeter, right? Like, it's just, I think at some point you're going to have to, I think at some point they're going to have to make a decision with De'Aaron Fox. So to me, I don't think De'Aaron Fox would want to go to the Pelicans for 1. 2, I don't think the Pelicans would necessarily want De'Aaron Fox because they got DeJounte Murray. But my kind of thought process, maybe you could work out a 3-team deal where you're getting a Trey Murphy. If you're the Spurs, you want more than just Trey Murphy. But I'm saying like that kind of be in the center core of the package. Or if you could just go trade for Trey Murphy, period, right? And especially if you're bringing Dylan Harper off the bench for the next few years. I mean, Trey Murphy is the exact kind of guy you want alongside De'Aaron Fox too. So even if you're not trading De'Aaron Fox, still could bring in a Trey Murphy, and he still makes a ton of sense, right? You could go De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, you could go Harrison Barnes, Trey Murphy, and Victor Wembanyama. You got your 2 6'8" versatile wings that can defend, shoot the 3 ball, slot it alongside, a De'Aaron Fox, Victor Wembanyama can stretch the floor, knock down the 3 ball, though he could be a little streaky. Because, that's one of my concerns with the Spurs, period, is a lack of 3-point shooting, right? Because, Victor Wembanyama, he likes to take a lot of volume based on last year. He took 8.8, almost 9 attempts a game, but he's incredibly streaky. He's young. He'll get there, but he's very streaky. De'Aaron Fox is not a great shooter. Right? Like, he has his games and his moments, but he's never really been a great 3-point shooter. Harrison Barnes is probably your best 3-point shooter right now. Vassell can be kind of streaky at times, but I think I will be a little surprised if Vassell is on this roster come the start of the season. I'll be even more surprised if he's on this roster come trade deadline. I think that they're going to end up trading Devin Vassell. I think you have no choice, right? Again, how many guards can you have at some point? I think that's going to be something that they're going to have to figure out and address. But anyway, getting back into Trey Murphy, because that's what this video is about. That's what the conversation is about. Trey Murphy is a guy that I think he's a guy that checks off all the boxes. He's youthful, right? To me, it just boils down to the cost. He's youthful, athletic, can defend, hit shots, create for himself, create for others. Boom, check. Just what do you have to give up in order to acquire a guy like Trey Murphy? Right? And at some point, you're gonna have to start selling off some of your assets. You're gonna have to start making some moves here. You're gonna have to start figuring some stuff out because you're not gonna be able to draft 5 guys every year. And you've already seen the Spurs make these type of moves and get off of things and stuff. So, but what does he bring? What does he bring to a team? Right? Outside of being 6'8", versatile, athletic, all that stuff, right? Like I said, last year he averaged 21 points, right? But looking at kind of exactly what he provided last year, 53 games played, 51 games started, played 35 minutes per game, 15.8 field goal attempts per game, shot 45.4% from the field, shot 36% from 3-point range, which was actually the worst 3-point percentage of his career. The second previous was 38% last year. He's a career 38.3% 3-point shooter, but he also, there were times where everybody on that team was hurt except for him. He was literally the only guy out there at times. So a lot of it it was just getting harder contested threes, so on and so forth. So keep in mind that some of this stuff is actually more impressive because he had to self-create a lot of that stuff. You got to remember, DeJounte Murray missed nearly all of last season, so they didn't even have a point guard. Right? So a lot of the things that he was doing were contested, or he had to, he had to really work to make happen. But again, 36.1% on 8.3 attempts, which 36% still isn't bad. I think league average was 36 and some change. So he basically shot league average last year on 8.3 attempts, right? 55.6% from 2-point range on 7.6 attempps, and then EFG of 55%. Shot 89% from the free throw line on 4.3 attempts. He is a career 87.5% free throw shooter, so he's a good free throw shooter too. Grabbed 5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, and 21.2 points per game. It's a guy that, again, checks off a lot of boxes for the Spurs team. A guy that I think could do wonders potentially for this Spurs team. Kind of, again, just come in, fill a hole, fill a void that you need, but also be a long-term answer, right? It's not just something that's temporarily for, we got this guy for the next year or two. It's a guy that, can, again, continue to grow and rise with this team. You start getting into it. Like I said, he's cheap enough to where, as the salary cap continues to rise, that contract's going to get better and better and just put you in a really good position. But Anyway, as always, this is a discussion, pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and see you all in the next one. Thank you.